When you start out with options, it's so easy to get lost because there's just so much information. There's so many YouTube channels sharing some good information, but there's just so much that it's very easy to get lost. That's why I wanted to share with you what personally helped me when I started out, and I wanted to share with you 3 things that I think are super important when you start out with trading options. But before diving into this video, if at any point you find this video interesting or helpful and you actually learn something, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and liking this video. As I always say, it's really the best support you can give me, and it shows me after that in my analytics which type of videos you like to see. The first very big thing that anyone who's starting out with options needs to understand is that understanding the fundamentals, taking the time to understanding the fundamentals and how do option pricings work, how do they work together, what makes an option price change, what are those factors that make all of this work together, and basically understanding the fundamentals. It's so important because when you think about it, the stock market isn't going anywhere. The stock market is always going to be there. There are always going to be opportunities. However, depending on how ready you are basically going to make more or less money. That's just how it is. And you need to go through that step where you just learn the fundamentals. So you would probably ask me, how do I learn the fundamentals? Where, you can buy a book. Literally, there is a book written by Sheldon Laytonberg that gives you just all of the information that you need. Or you could, for example, watch Tasty Trade. Personally, when I started out, I just binge watched Tasty Trade because even though you might not want to trade exactly like they do, they're providing so much knowledge that it's at least worth checking out what they're doing and learn from them, at least for the fundamentals and for the basics. After that, if you don't want to trade like them, it's completely up to you. No one forces you to trade like them. However, I can assure you that in terms of fundamentals, they're probably the best channel out there, and they just give so much content for free. They just provide so much information for free that it's so important for you to learn that and know that it's free. Before it wasn't free, so at least now you have everything that you need out there for free. So just learn the fundamentals is probably one of the biggest things that I would tell anyone who's starting out with options now, because the problem is it's very easy to just jump into the market without necessarily knowing what you do, because now everything's made nowadays for you to actually trade without necessarily understanding. There's not necessarily a test that after that allows you to trade options. Basically anyone who wants basically can trade options. After that, it's not because anyone can trade options that anyone should. Anyone who actually trades options should have at least a basic understanding of how option pricing works, what is implied volatility, what is cost basis, what do you do when the trade goes against you, and understanding all of the fundamentals is just going to help you. So I know that, understanding the fundamentals and taking the time to learn is not necessarily the most exciting thing. You'd rather go into the market and trade directly, and I get it. However, if you can take the time to just learn the fundamentals, know that it's going to save you time, first of all, because you're just going to be ahead of the competition, and that's just what it is. You're going to know more than most of the people, which is going to put you ahead of the competition. And second, you're going to save money, because usually the time that you don't necessarily want to spend studying and learning the fundamentals, which I get, once again, I get that you don't want to spend time learning the fundamentals. However, that time that you don't want to spend, you're going to pay it somehow by doing some mistakes trading options. You're going to actually lose money, which is going to be your fee of not wanting to take the time to learn the fundamentals. So that's why it's more important to take the time before, and I know it sounds boring, but it's just the reality. The second thing that I wish that I had known when I started trading options is that not focusing on the money is probably the most important thing that you can do, and let me explain why. When you start out trading options, see that as learning a skill. You're learning a skill, you're learning something. You're learning something where there is basically a game of luck. It's true that there is luck which is directly in the game. That's the stock market. There is a matter of luck. However, there's also a matter of skill. And that skill, you have to learn it, and you have to trade to learn it. That's why at first, it doesn't really matter what are your performances. It doesn't matter if you lose money. It doesn't matter if at first you're losing money, because you're learning a skill. And this is way more important than just short-term money. Don't try to make YOLO trades where you're just trying to hit home runs. Try to focus on learning a methodology, and that's why I was recommending Tasty Trade, because they really give you all the tools, and after that it's really up to you to just apply those. But that's why when I started out, personally, I was very much focused on trying to make money, which is normal because that's the goal of actually trading options or trading in general. However, think of this as if you were learning how to fish. When you learn how to fish, you don't necessarily expect to have like a perfect catch directly the first time you try fishing. Well, that's exactly the same thing with trading. Don't expect being good directly. Don't expect actually knowing how to trade options directly. You'll do mistakes, you'll do plenty of mistakes, and that's normal because you're just learning a skill. And after month and month and month, you're probably going to get better, and you're going to notice that you start understanding really how it works together and how all of the different parts of options start tying together. And that's why I was saying that it's very important to learn the fundamentals first, because after that, once you get into the market and you learn that skill, well, you see that it's going to start making a lot more sense. And in the end, trading is a competition. So if you don't take that time to learn the fundamentals, someone else will, and someone else will beat you at that game. So that's why learning the fundamentals, and after that trying to focus on more learning the skills rather than actually making money, is going to put you ahead of the competition. I can absolutely assure you that. After that, don't get me wrong, if you make money, it's always better. It's always better if you make money. But what I want to tell you is that don't freak out if you lose money at the beginning. It's normal. Like, be kind to yourself. You're learning a skill, and know that it's a game where most people lose. So don't expect to just come in and just win directly. It doesn't work like that. After that, if you manage to make money directly from the beginning, I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's the goal at the end of the game. But, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. Some people, they don't make money directly. It takes a long time to learn a skill, and that's what happened to me. At first, I wasn't making money, and that's why I focus more on learning how it all works together rather than trying to hit home runs, because I think that on the long term, it's just much more sustainable. The third thing that I really want to tell anyone who's just starting options is that there is no secret strategy. Everything that you need, every strategy that you can think of, is out there for free. I can assure you that. There is no secret strategy, there is no secret trading plan or whatever it is. There is no secret system that is going to make you earn money. Everyone basically has the same information. That might not have been true in the past, because before, information was not as spread as it is now. However, now everyone has the same amount of information. Everyone has the same weapons, at least for options trading. I'm not talking about high frequency traders or anything like this. I'm really talking about retail options trading. Everyone has the same tools and the same weapons. After that, it depends on you on knowing when to use the best strategy for the best time and when to adapt according to the market situations. But really, I can assure you that there is no secret strategy. And what I really mean by this, because we're going there obviously, is that I don't want you to go pay for like secret trading system or secret trading plans. And in a way, know that this is very reassuring, because once you understand that there is no secrets, there is no trading system that is going to make you earn a ton of money like this, it's just basically you have strategies and it depends on you on how you use them so as to hopefully make money. Know that this is quite reassuring, because now if you really understand the fundamentals and if you understand how options work, you have an edge over others. You have an edge over people who don't want to spend the time learning. So that's why I'm saying that it's so important to learn the fundamentals and to just take the time to just, learn that skill, because it's going to pay off. I can assure you that it's going to pay off. You just need to take the time to learn. And I know it sucks, I know it's hard, but it is what it is. And when I think about it, trading is very much like a sport. It's very much like a sport where basically everyone tries to be first, but not everyone is going to be first. And depending on how much work and how much time you spend learning all of this, and I'm not saying spending hours and countless hours in front of charts, I'm talking about really learning how option pricing works, what makes the price of an option change, what is implied volatility, how does it work. I mean, once you learn all of this and you start putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together, you're really going to get good at this. And for the people that get good at this, they're just being paid, and the other ones, they just lose money. That's just how it is. And actually, I could even mention a fourth thing that I wish that I had known when I started all of this, is that slow and consistency is way more powerful than fast and just big profits. When you start making slow, consistent profits, trust me, on the long term, it makes so much more important. It's so much more important to make slow and consistent profits. It's more boring, I agree, but on the long term, it's much more impressive because you can last a lot longer. And when you focus on learning this type of slow and consistent growth and you try to learn how to do that, on the long term, it's going to pay off a lot more compared to someone who hits a home run once. However, it's not repeatable. You cannot repeat that. And for example, when it comes let's say to GameStop, well, a lot of people made a lot of money on GameStop. However, how repeatable can you actually make this type of trade? If you can, that's great. However, there are very few examples of GameStops. That's why it's much better to learn a methodology where where you can just go on and learn a skill and then repeat that and try to make slow and consistent profits, who are going to put you on the long term in a much better position than someone who tries to hit home runs every time. I hope this video was insightful and you actually learned some stuff. I wanted to share really 3-4 things that really struck with me, and now that I've been trading options for a bit of time, I start understanding what I did wrong and what I did good in the past. That's why I wanted to share it with you, so hopefully if you're starting out now, it's helpful for some of you. Please make good and informed decisions. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, I wish you all the best.